Okay, so just by way of introduction, my name's Rodney Duffett. I'm in the marketing department, and this workshop was arranged some time ago, and I think it's quite good because it helped me, look at certain elements which, and from my experience, which will help you, and areas that my master's students and doctorate students struggled with. And in fact, I use these type of things at BTech already. I get my students also to do a proposal. So, and it's helped them. So the first topic that I'm going to present, and it's kind of in the middle of the proposal, is the CPUT library literature search. So how do you find your information for your proposal and for your thesis? So I've put together a few tips that has helped me, and so let's go into it. So the first resource that you have as a CPUT registered student is the CPUT website, and specifically the library website. And the library has paid many institutions millions and millions of rands to give you access to certain articles, which if you were not registered as a student, you would not have access to them. But even if you're not registered, there are other ways of getting those articles, which I will show you later. Okay, so your first step would be to go to the CPUT website, and I've just done screenshots because I can't get the internet in here myself, or maybe the laptop's a problem. You would click on library, then you would select research. Okay, you will get this PowerPoint presentation. I will email it to you. You can take notes as well, and it is being recorded. So you would click research. Now, it's very important that you work out keywords for your topic. So whatever your title is, those would be the type of keywords that you would include. So I've given an example from one of my master's students, and his topic is on m-commerce, mobile shopping, mobile apps, mobile technology. He's looking at consumer attitudes in terms of the technological acceptance model, the theory of reasoned action. He's looking at specific constructs such as trust, social influence, usefulness, mobility, and customer satisfaction, and a number of others. And his target market is specifically Generation Z or Y. I don't know if you all know, Generation Z are your teenagers, and Generation Y are typically aged 18 to about 37 now. So you need to work out your keywords, because the more specific you make your search, the more specific type of articles you're going to get. So, and the more of these phrases you sling together, the more specific the articles you're going to find. So if you just type in mobile apps by itself, how many search results do you think you're going to get? You're going to get tens of thousands. But they may not be specific to what you want to do. So there are ways to refine your research to get more specific results, and that's what we're going to cover. But the key is to work out, once you more or less know what your topic is to work out the key phrases that you can use. And you can use multiple of these phrases in your search, as I will show you later, which will give you very specific results. So once you've got your keywords, now on the CPT website, you can type in mobile shopping apps. And, it's given us 21,483 results, which is problematic. You do not have time to go through that many results. So you need to refine your research, your search further. And so I always suggest, when using the CPUT library website, and when using just any like Emerald or Google Scholar, you always use the advanced search function. And this will allow you to refine the research. So CPUT, the refined search, is not as good as some of the journals, but nevertheless it will allow you to get more specific results. So you can search by field, title, subject. You can search by books, journal. You can search by start and end date. So my favorite search is to search my key phrases by title. If it's not in the article's title, then it's not going to, pick it up. I also like searching by keywords or abstract. So, keywords or abstract is another way that really allows you to refine your research. And another important function is date. Now, a problem I'm having with a lot of my students and other students is that they find material that is 30, 40 years old, and most of their search results are like in the 10 to 15 year range. That is too old for a modern topic. Yes, you can have the foundational articles included, but I give my students a ratio of, for every one old source, I want to see 2 new sources. So within the last 5 years, specifically if it's mobile shopping apps, has only started to explode in the last sort of 5 years. So I expect to see a lot of search results there. You can have older search results, but I really want to see new results. And this I review for a hang of a lot of journals as well, and this is what I always pick everyone out about, is that, just do a recent search. When you send your doctorate or master thesis for examination, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to Google your topic. And I'm going to go to Google Scholar and I'm going to find the 10 latest articles and see if they're in your thesis. If they're not, I'm going to send it back to you and say, well, you haven't included the latest research. Because this is a mistake that a lot of students do. They do the literature search, they finish their literature chapters, then they do the research and their discussion, but then they fail to do a fresh literature search. So please take that into consideration too, so that when you submit your thesis, you always have the latest material that is available. And you can do that in the advanced search function. So I've just shown you, demonstrating on CPUT, you can type mobile search function, and then you can narrow it down by title, by author, by subject. You can narrow it down by date, by language, by the type of material. So you can use all of these to refine your research further. And I've just shown you an example that if you click here, you can select if you want journals, if you want books, if you want titles or articles, so you can refine it. And here I've just showed you that I've adjusted the date. So from 2015 till 2019. And that will just narrow down the research and let you find later research. And you can use both of these at the same time. You can search by date, and then you can also narrow it down by, not any field, but you can change that to title. And that would allow you to, only find those articles by title. Also on the CPT website, it allows you to refine your research after you've done the search. You can change it there by subject, title, electronic collection, creation date, and journal title. You can sort on the right-hand side. So to demonstrate you've done your research, and here it allows you to search by relevant. Available online. Is it a peer-reviewed journal? It allows you to search by subject. So you need to play around with this so that you can refine your research and reduce those 21,000 initial results you got down to maybe 100. And then you can go through them and extract what is most relevant to your search. Here I've just shown you further that there's other title, creation date, electronic language. I've just clicked on it. I can show you if there's specific journals that you want to use. Also on the CPT website, there's other ways you can search. Now, quite frankly, I don't like, this is the new CPT platform, and I don't like that searches across all journals. I prefer to narrow my search. And but before I get to that, there are two other useful sources of information, and this is open access, so you don't need to be a CPUT student. So it's called the Institutional Repository and Electronic Theses and Dissertations Repository. And this is open access. So if you clicked research, you'll see here's the Institutional Repository, here's the Electronic Theses and Dissertations. And in there, you'll find articles that CPUT staff and students have published. And by the theses, you'll find all the theses that CPUT staff members and students have completed. And so that's a good starting point to search. Has someone else at CPUT done research on something similar to what you're doing? And that's freely available. I think, yes, so I just show you that these two options are available. If you click on it, you can search within those and find everything that CPUT has done on these topics. And particularly theses. If you can find a thesis that's vaguely related to your topic, then that's really going to help you, because they would have followed similar processes and procedures compared to overseas theses. So that's another useful avenue to search. Then what I prefer to do is, besides the CPUT repository and theses, my favorite way of searching for material is using the databases. And actually when they changed the CPUT library platform, they took away that option to be able to search via the databases. And I kicked up a huge fuss. I went to the top of the library and said, that is the best way to find, is if I can search via Emerald or Google Scholar or Science Direct directly is better for me. And so they actually brought it back, I'm pleased to say. So if you go to the CPT library, instead of clicking on Research or Institutional Repository, you can click on Databases. And when you click on Databases, it gives you a list of databases. And my favorite ones are these. This is where I get all of my information. Academic Search Premier is not bad. Emerald was my favorite, but recently they changed their platform. So the advanced search function is not nearly as good as what it was. So they've got 3 stinking emails from me saying that their new system is rubbish, because it doesn't allow you to search by article title anymore, or abstract or keywords where it used to. So now when you type in your search results, it's searched by relevance. And where I was finding 20 articles, now I'm finding 2 articles. Because they don't. So they've got 3 very, very hot emails from me, and they're apologetic, and we're looking into it, and they'll keep getting those emails from me until they change it. Because they had the best search function, advanced search function, and now it is not nearly as good. Science Direct is now my favorite. That is your Elsevier. And I'm getting a lot of information from Elsevier, and that's an extremely high quality publisher, even better than Emerald. You'll get a lot of useful information via them. Then Google Scholar is very general. So it's almost like Google plus academic. So it does have an advanced search function, and you can get a lot of material there, but the quality is, it doesn't just, all these predatory journals, you'll get all of that information as well. And some of it's not bad, but the quality is not good, but you get a mixed bag from Google Scholar. Dissertations and theses, which is I think under ProQuest, is a great way again to find full theses on potentially your topic. Now this is overseas, so if it's done overseas and you replicate it in South Africa, it's not a problem, because if it hasn't been done in South Africa before. So you could use a lot from those theses. But I've looked at the quality, it's mostly your honors and their masters. A master's overseas is not the same as a master's in South Africa. I would rate their masters more as like a BTech. That's my personal opinion. You'll see it's not quite there, but you get a lot of useful information from them. Now, very important is Sarbinet reference, SAE publications, and current and completed research. Those three are all South African sources. So, Sarbinet reference, in fact, SAE publications and current completed researches are also under Sarbinet references, but you've also got separate databases. And a starting point before you even start a thesis is to go to the current and completed research and do a search. That's NRF related, and when you register your topic at CPUT, that topic gets registered on the NRF database. And if you do it, you need to do a search there first, because what happens if you find your exact topic there? Can you do the research? No, it's been done. So you have to go to the current and completed research, check on the NRF website, has your topic been done? Now, generally you can't get the full theses there, sometimes you can, but usually you have to go directly to their university to find that full thesis if you want, and you can do a interlibrary loan, or, so go through your subject librarian can help you. But that's your starting point of search. Then SAE Publications allows you to find all of the South African articles that have been written on your topic. And that's useful to give your research context from a South African flavor. Although a majority of the information you use is usually from abroad, or at least in my instances. And then a last useful database, in my opinion, is WorldCat dissertations, and this is again another platform where you can find international theses, because theses are much better than an article because they give you so much more. So those are the databases. So just to illustrate, so once you click databases, then you click on Academic Search Premier, and then you click Open Database, then you type in your username and password, and then you can search. Okay, and then you see they always give you an advanced search function, and you should go there immediately. This is not open to non-registered students. They cannot access, for example, Academic Search Premier through the CPT website because they don't have login details. But if you're not registered, you can go directly to the website and do a search. And a lot of their material is open access. But those who are not open access, but you find these titles that are extremely relevant, cut and paste those titles out and put them on a separate page. And I'll show you how you can get those articles, or most of them, without being registered. So any article you cannot get through the CPT library website. So you're going to do a search and you can get some articles, but why can't you get certain articles? Is there's an embargo. It means CPUT has paid for certain type of access, but they may not, for example, give you access for the last 6 months of their publications. And after 6 months passes, then we only qualify to get access. So if you can't get access to any article via the CPT library website, and there will be quite a few, take the title of the article, cut and paste it into a Word document. And I'll show you a few tricks on how to get that research. Because often there's just that one article that is really exactly what your research is about, and you can't get it. You can see it, but you cannot get it. And there's a few tricks you can use to get it, and I'll show you that later. So there's an example. If you click current and completed research, then that's what it looks like. You see, current and completed research also takes you to Sarbinet reference, but a specific part, and then you can search specifically. So that's going to search for theses. And then here's Emerald Insight. This is what their new platform looks like. Unfortunately, the advanced search function now is, they say you can still search by title, author, and keywords, but you cannot. So hopefully they will listen to me, because every week I'm going to send them an email until they do something. ProQuest, here's just an example. And again, you can do an advanced search. I always use the advanced search function. I emphasize search for title, keywords, and abstract. But don't search beyond, because otherwise you're going to have too many search results. Google Scholar. Okay, and that also does give you an advanced search function. Sarbinet reference, that's what it looks like. And it gives you, usually I search by A to Z publications is where I search on Sabinet reference. Okay, so advanced search functions, I've been repeating myself regarding this, but just to emphasize, title, abstract keywords, and years. Limit it according to that, your search according to that. It will refine your research. You can only go through so many articles, and really you want to get your research down to about no more than 100 articles, and then you try other key phrases. Sometimes you'll put in your key phrase and search by title and you find nothing. So then you keep refining your research, try different keywords, and eventually, until you found everything that you possibly can. Here I'm just giving you an example. So Science Direct, under the search function, you see I've typed in my term here, mobile shopping app, under title, abstract keywords, and I've typed in the years 2015 to 2019. So that's really going to give me a specific search result. Okay, so other tips to find sources. And I recently sat down with Zuleika Davids, the subject librarian, and she gave me some of these tips. So if you go to Google Scholar, or any of the databases for that matter, or even Google, you can type in your keywords, and at the end of the word you type in PDF. That will find any PDF articles that you have access to. So if you, it will reveal all PDF documents, which may not necessarily be of the best quality because it does not discriminate, but it's a good starting point. And so you don't need to be registered. You can even try that in the other databases, but generally for Google and Google Scholar, type in your key phrase, type in PDF. It will give you all of those, and then you can just download those articles. So they're basically open access. So try that, is another good way to search for data. Here's an example. So I typed in mobile shopping apps, and you'll see all of these. So it says mobile through applications, on-the-go mobile, and all of them are PDF. So what does that mean? I can download them. And you'll see that a lot of the research results you'll find are under ResearchGate. I don't know if you've all heard about ResearchGate. So that is where most researchers, there's another one, academia, are the two popular ones. And I think there's even now like an African Gate or something, but that's very new. So ResearchGate and academia, if you go to those, you can also search within them. And a lot of the authors, they don't put the actual published article, but they put the manuscript that they submitted. So you will again be able to get a lot of information through ResearchGate and academia. You can search directly in those two sites. So, but that's a good tip. Just type PDF and you can get a lot of information quickly. Now, remember I said earlier on in the presentation that there are just some articles you cannot get because there's still an embargo on, and sometimes they're even old articles, 2015, but we just don't have access to them. A friend of mine introduced me to this website. It's called Science Hub, and that's the full link to it. Now, it looks like a very dodgy website, I can tell you the truth. It looks very dodgy. But the truth of the matter is, it gets me 9 out of 10 articles I can't get. And I'll show you how it works. So you simply type the article title in and push enter, and I'll show you what happens. You can also try something called unpaywall. You register yourself there, and then it gives you like a little lock thing, and when you've got access, it gives you a little green lock. You click on it and it'll give you the article. I haven't really used it much, but the librarian showed me. That's another way to try and get access to the article. But if you type in this is what it looks like. Okay, Science Hub. And then you cut and paste the article into the Science Hub, and you click open. Then it gives you this language that I can't read. It's Arabic or whatever. That's why I'm saying it looks very dodgy. And it usually asks you to type in some keyword, okay, like borrow or whatever, just so that you're not a robot. And then you click whatever that says in Arabic open. That's why I say it looks very scary, but there I've got the article. And now I can download it. I'm telling you, but sometimes you put it in and then it says Science Hub is not available, blah, blah. That means you can't get the article. Are you with me? So it gives you that message. And you may do that for, sometimes you just have an unlucky streak and you put in 5 articles and you can't get them. But other times you put in 10 articles and you get all 10 of them. So remember this Sci-Hub. I promise you, it's my BTech students now at the stage where they go to the databases, they just get all the titles, and then they just go into Science Hub and they just put it in and download it one after another. It's quicker actually than trying to go through all of the, trying to download it, because often you can't download half of them and waste your time. So really try that. That was the best thing I learned, in the last few years searching for articles. And 9 out of 10 articles I get. But sometimes through Science Hub, you still can't get the article. It doesn't give you access. Then what I simply do is I Google it. I take the title and I put it in Google. And sometimes you get access to it via ResearchGate. They give you the PDF. Sometimes it takes you to ResearchGate and then it asks you to ask the authors to send it to you. But if you just go through all the Google searches, somewhere along the line there's a chink in the armor and you can access it. So you've just got to click on a lot of links, especially if you really want that article. So that's the last resort is Google. You can just Google the title, and 50% of the time I actually do get the article. If I can't get it through Science Hub, so usually I get 9 out of 10 articles there that I couldn't get, and that one article, half the time I get it through Google. And then sometimes you just can't get it. But keep that title on record, and then you try again in 3 months later. And often by then you will be able to get access to it, to get that specific article. Non-registered students, I just put this in because often I have people inquiring and want to do research and start their proposals, but they're not registered. So CPUT Institutional Repository and Electronic Thesis and Dissertations is open access. You can't access the databases through the CPUT website, but you can go directly to Emerald Science Direct. And then you simply gather all the type, and there's some open access articles, but those you can't access. You just simply cut and paste all the titles into a Word, and then you go to Science Direct, and you cut and paste them in and see what you can get. And then if you can't get it, then you can go to Google and search, and then you can also search via Google Scholar and Google by adding PDF to the title. So even if you're not registered, I reckon you'll be able to get everything someone who is registered still by using some of these search functions. Also, what's very important is, besides academic research, is to also search popular press sources. So from my perspective, marketing, I tell the students to search for your key terms by Biz Community, eMarketer, Memburn. Search for your key and get the latest popular press, which often gives you the stats and figures that you need for your theses. Also online newspapers, News 24, IOL, business magazines, Harvard Business Review, Financial Mail, from my perspective, Ad Focus, and my specific interest area is advertising, so ASA, Advertising Review Board, AMASA. And Wikipedia, for me, is not an option to students. If I see any Wikipedia in their references or whatever, I tell them to remove it. Any pedia is dubious to me. But for an overview of the topic, it is a good idea. So if you just want to get background information, then you don't use the Wikipedia information. You go to the sources that they used. So you get it directly from the original source. But do not reference Wikipedia. it's just anypedia. It's just not a reputable source. There are many inaccuracies on that because not anyone, but virtually anyone can load information on Wikipedia. Okay, and that's my first topic. I'm just going to stop recording so it doesn't get too long.